Hey, this is DJ Dave again. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this video, it's because there's probably about 2 months to go until your wedding, so around about 8 weeks, getting excited, and so you should be. So the first thing I wanted to do in this video is have a quick recap on what should be done by now, and if you haven't got that done, the quickest ways to catch up. The first thing to have done by now is to have fleshed out a fair bit of the detail of exactly what's going to be happening on the day. So this could be things like words for speeches, poems, songs, formalities, customs, menus, all of these things which require further detail. This is the time to start fleshing them out. If this is an area where you feel like you're falling behind, the easiest way to catch up is to delegate the details of each area to someone that you trust. Whether it's one of your bridesmaids or a member of your family or another key person, ask them to create the detail for you and show you what they've done. The next thing that should be done by now is you should now have a very clear picture in your head of exactly how you want the day to go from start to finish. The easiest way to generate this picture, if it's not clear for you yet, is to do what's called a visioning exercise. Sit down with your manifest, close your eyes, and think about your day from the moment that you wake up, step by step, every little detail, right until you go to bed. And write the key things that come up in your manifest just in a vertical list, one after the other. And then once you've done that, have a look at the list you've written, but start at the end and then work backwards. And that will give you some idea about whether it makes sense logistically, and also give you an opportunity, if you like, to put some timings next to things. The final thing that should be done by now is your suppliers should have a very clear picture of exactly how you want the day to go. The easiest way to get around this, if you haven't done that yet, is to blast your manifest out to every single supplier on email and ask them to confirm receipt of your manifest within 24 hours and to get back to you within 7 days if they require any changes to the manifest. Now let's assume that's all done and you're ready to go for the day. What could you be doing now, and what is an area where I could offer you some assistance? Well, I thought I'd talk to you today a little bit about something a lot of brides talk to me about, which is how to handle the bucks night. I'm not quite sure why they talk to me about this. Maybe it's because we have a rapport and I'm a guy and I'm married, so I've heard a bit about it, but a lot of brides do talk to me about this, and I do have some specific guidance which I'd like to share with you if you do have any concerns about the bucks night. Now, the first step with having a conversation about the bucks night is to get past the barrier of it's secret. And the best way to do that is to organise a time to sit down with your groom, the best man and the maid of honour, and have a conversation about generally bucks and hens nights. What's okay, what's not, all those sorts of things. Now, you might find that your groom is really super comfortable to have this conversation, or maybe not, but at the end of the day, it's going to provide both of you with some really good information about what's okay and what's not that you then feed on to the best man and to the maid of honour, because if you don't do that, they're guessing. So that's your first step, to get that conversation out and get everything out in the open as much as you possibly can. The next thing for you to do is to create a safe space and have a conversation with the groom about the bucks night and ask his opinion about what's going on and gauge for yourself whether you have any further upsets or concerns about what might be going on. Now, if you are upset or concerned, there's 2 very important things for you to do before you proceed the conversation any further. First of all, you need to clarify exactly what it is that you're upset or concerned about. You need to be super precise in this regard. Otherwise, all your conversation is going to do is confuse your groom. The second thing that you need to make sure of, and this is imperative, is that your groom is in a safe space for them to have this conversation. If you don't create a safe space before you start this conversation, your groom is going to become defensive and the conversation is going to be stopped and it's not going to be able to move anywhere with you two sitting down together and having a talk. Now, if these conversations don't alleviate your concerns, or if your groom is becoming increasingly defensive about these conversations, the most important thing is don't push, be smart. One of the most effective ways to proceed from here is to begin a conversation not with your groom, but with some older members of his family whom you trust. If you can precisely share your concerns with these people, you might be very pleasantly surprised at how much of an impact they can have on the execution of the bucks night. So I hope that gives you some ideas for the bucks night and how to deal with the emotional concern you might be feeling. Don't forget, I'm always available on email. You can text me anytime, so don't be shy to get in touch. Love to have a chat to you about any of the preparations that you're doing for your wedding, and I hope everything runs smoothly from here. This is David Bartholomew's. Thanks for tuning in.